matchup set to go here between the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. The first 2 months of the regular season down. What will the final two bring us as we're off in Week 9? And we will not see a run back on the opening kickoff. This will be a touchback. Strong going to look to throw it right off the bat. Left side, that's caught by Mitchell. And not much to speak of. Call it a 1-yard gain up to the 26. This defense for the Packers, they were terrific last week in the victory over Buffalo.
And I'm eager to see the game plan and try to attack them this week, because when you take it away 4 times through interceptions, what do you do now when you go into a game? Do you decide you can't throw the ball? Do you try and run it more? Or do you tell your quarterback, make sure you see your guys open before you deliver?
Looking to throw on second down. Strong. Now the Packers give him nowhere to go, and they bring him down. They push him back 8 yards that time on second down. But just 2 plays in, and Charles already their first sack defensively.
Yeah, how about that? That didn't take long, did it? And now they look at third down, and that's another time to try and go and get the quarterback too.
Now on third and long, they'll look to throw. To the right side, it's caught by Mitchell. And he is going to have the Lions first down as they're able to get the third down conversion. So from the 36 now, first and 10. They'll run for the first time with DeAndre Swift. And this defense not giving him anything there. Maybe a yard up to the 36. The Lions at 6-1 now through 7 weeks of the season. They've been playing their best football of the year. Winners of 4 in a row. And I thought that they played pretty well last week. Their execution, their discipline, their resilience, all on display in that victory. And here's a throw right side, taken in by his tight end. 5 yards. Now it's 3rd and 5. Well, that's not just his first, not his second, already his 3rd completion here on the opening drive. And I think it's safe to say that getting him the ball in this game, one of their top priorities. And the top priority for the defense has got to be finding ways to cover him. And I don't think you can have one basic coverage to get it done. You have to throw him. He's got a man, complete. And they're going to get this down to about the 17-yard line here. Things are looking pretty darn good on this first drive, aren't they? Came right out, set the tone. This time with a big pass play. And if the peek behind the curtain that they gave us or their game plan, I don't think that's going to be the last one we see. I think you're exactly right about that. From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. This is caught. And in for the Lions touchdown. James Mitchell, his 5th touchdown now on the year. And the Lions will jump on top with the game's first score here this afternoon. Extra point by Badgley, up and good. And it's now a 7-0 game. Following the touchdown, Badgley out there to kick it away. And here comes a return from the middle of the end zone. And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped at the 23. Rodgers will break the huddle and bring the pack up 1st and 10 at their own 23. Now the man from UTEP, this is Aaron Jones. And he'll wind up losing yardage here back at the 21-yard line. They'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11. This defense is a difficult one to prepare for, one of the best in the league. They'll come at you from all angles, and they did a nice job there stopping him for a loss. On play action, it's Rodgers. And he's got his receiver. That's Sammy Watkins. And they're going to get this beyond the 40 before he's taken down. Last play, they got stuffed at the line. Different story here, over 20 yards.
But one of the ways the quarterbacks keep all the receivers alive in a play, never lock in on any one guy. Make sure you keep your eyes moving, scan the field. And here he finds the open guy for a nice pickup.
They fake the give. Now Rodgers.
Pass caught. It's Romeo Doubs. And they're able to work this across midfield to the 48.
When you're playing a quarterback with some experience and some moxie, you enter the danger zone when you decide to blitz him, because if he's able to diagnose as he did on that play, he can hurt you downfield.
He reads defenses so well, doesn't he?
He really does, and the best part about that play for him, I don't think that was his primary target.
I don't think so either.
I think he had the read, figured out where the blitz was coming from, and went to a secondary target for a really nice game.
And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. 25 yards there on the catch and run.
And boy, CD, it's one thing to watch a great run, but when it's a great run with broken contact, it's like a cherry on top. That was a nice play.
Yeah, and that's a run born out of ferociousness. He took on that initial contact and in his mind just screamed, "Out of my way," and kept right on going and wound up turning it into a big play.
And this is going to be intercepted.
Picked off by Amani Oruwariye. And the Lions are going to get the football here as the ball will come out to the 20.
The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. And Charles, if the season ended today, and it's not going to, we still have December left, early in November, but they would be a wild card team. And that's great. They'd be in the playoffs, but you know they're trying to bump up to be one of those division leaders.
That guarantees you at least one home game in the playoffs, and that's what you're really seeking. But there also is a much margin for error for this team, right? Because right where they're sitting, a two-game losing streak could have them out of the playoffs, so they've got to make sure they continue to keep the momentum going.
Absolutely. There's some sharks smelling blood in the water behind them.
Out to Mitchell here. He's got it.
Touchdown!
James Mitchell
with his second TD of the game, his sixth on the year.
And the Lions are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead.
Extra point by Badgley, up and good. And that'll make the score 14-0. Following the touchdown, Badgley out there to kick it away.
This will be brought out from the middle of the end zone. And he'll be stopped right around where he would have. Gone down to a knee, maybe a yard shy of there at the 24.
The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And they're in an early hole. First drive, they threw the interception. That led to a touchdown, so decent-sized deficit early on.
It is, but I think you hit the key words early on. So they have to decide, do we even need to change game plan, or do we just need to execute better and try and get back in this game? Against a team coming off a win just as your team did the previous week, you talk about being physical all game long. Sometimes being physical is just being on the spot and helping force the incompletion.
To throw once more on 2nd and 10. Rodgers. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
And see, you look at this defense, what kind of pressure are they under trying to stop a team that has won 5 games in a row?
Well, to me, it makes their job harder because you know you're going up against an offense that's playing at an elite level, and sometimes you can get too caught up in trying to play the perfect game. You're trying to be too precise, too fine, instead of just letting it rip. And I think that's more the priority than trying to be absolutely perfect.
So the completion results there in 9 yards. And that's going to bring up the 4th down. On now the former Vol, Michael Pilardi. And now on 4th and 1, it's a fake.
There are times to run that fake, and there are times to not run it. And this, without question, would fall in the latter category.
Well, I don't know about without question, partner. I think we should look at the analytics on this one because, oh, yeah, the analytics say, yeah, without question. You should have gone ahead and punted the football because now, not only did you not get it and you really had no chance to, what a short field that you turned the ball over to the other offense. He's put up numbers in this one by pushing the envelope a bit whenever he could with deeper throws. Well, let's play a little philosophy here. Some plays it works, sometimes they're ready for you. And that time, they were on guard. Incomplete.
And in for the Lions
touchdown. Jamison Williams, 30 yards. And the Lions take a 3-touchdown lead. Extra point by Badgley, up and good. And it's now 21-0. So how about this for a start? 21-0 here in the first as they kick this one away. Well, this is going to be returned from the middle of the end zone. And tackled at the 21-yard line, so a net negative there of 4 yards. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. Just the one misstep for them in the first half of the season. 7-1 is the record at the midway point. And in terms of whatever power rankings you want to go by, they're at or near the top of the list in terms of best teams in the National Football League.
And for me, in my little bit of rankings here, I've got them at the top. I know there's still 2 months to go, and we've seen teams get off to hot starts and then fade away due to injuries or the schedule or whatever. But unless there are a rash of injuries on this team, I'd be surprised if they aren't a first or a second seed come playoff time.
Yeah, he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40. 39 yards the distance covered on the catch and run.
And this offense needed something to try and seize the momentum a little bit. And that might have been exactly what they needed. Now they have a chance to go downfield and score and cut into the lead.
21-0 our score after one. This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. From the gun, it's Rodgers. And a big loss here as he's taken down. Multiple players combined for their team's first sack of the game.
3 scores down, not even a halftime yet. They are not getting much generated offensively. They've got to figure it out.
It's tough because this defense just seems to be playing with so much confidence right now.
They really are. They are on their toes, and they're getting at them.
And this is going to be intercepted. Picked by Jeff Okudah. And the Lions are going to get the football here as he gets this up to the 38-yard line. They set themselves behind the chains, tried to get it all back in one play, and it backfired.
Didn't it feel like a pitcher working his way into a 3-0 count, right? You're behind. What do your coaches always tell you? Get it back one pitch at a time. In this case, they tried to get it back right away, and it didn't work out.
His second catch, this one not quite as dynamic as his first, and it's 2nd down.
And they'll use him out of the backfield, and sometimes quite a bit. They're just trying to get him touches any way they can. 4 catches a week ago, there's another one right there.
On 2nd down, Swift. And he'll be tackled at the 45 following a gain of just 2.
I think if we put together a job description for a middle linebacker, we would start with being able to hold down things in the middle of the line of scrimmage and be able to take on blockers. But how about the guys who can go sideline to sideline and make plays?
Love a guy that can do that. We saw a perfect example of it right there. It's caught. Mitchell. And he is going to have a Lions first down. It won't be by much. He needed 3, and he got 3, barely. But the mark shows first down. Now a play fake here on first down. And he rifles one incomplete. That is the first time that they've targeted him that he has not come down with a catch.
He's caught everything that's been thrown his way. A dominant pass receiver that can break down any defense, because when he's doing that kind of work, it really hurts you on the back end.
And even though it's an incompletion there, I think they're going back to that well. The throw over the middle taken in. And they're going to get this down to about the 37.
Good strong throw and catch right there. And so far in this game, the alleys have been open for them to get completions, and they're taking advantage of it.
They'll look to throw again. Oh, this one incomplete. The pressure got to him as he released it. And it's 2nd down.
This could be the start of a nice stand from this defense now for getting rough backwards on this drive. Come through with another one here, and you have them staring at a 3rd and long, and that puts the defense in a position to dictate to the offense.
And that's hauled in by St. Brown over the middle. And they're going to move it down to inside the 25.
So they saw the contact before the ball arrived. Penalty flag for pass interference.
And trying to avoid pass interference is so difficult. You're trying to slow down these skilled receivers, and somehow, some way, they make plays on the football, and sometimes you're there too soon.
And he's going to go down. He's sacked back at the 24. They could not contain Kenny Clark as he gets home for the sack.
It seemed like he kept going through those progressions, and I thought he might dump that underneath, but he couldn't get rid of the football in time.
And I have to wonder if he was thinking while he was back there, I wish there were a lot less progressions on this play. Just someone that can dunk the ball to and get it out of my hands.
Rookie to rookie on the hook up there, and it's a first down.
Let's just call it what it is. This has been a flat-out struggle for this defense all game long. They've really had a hard time slowing them down. And while I'm not big on speeches and guys jumping up and down, they might need their team leader on defense to get in their face right now and light a fire under these guys. They've got to start playing better assignment football and start getting guys on the ground.
He's got his man. It's caught for a Lion touchdown. James Mitchell on his way to a monster game. 3 first-half touchdowns. And the Lions are able to add on to their first-half lead. And his kick is good, and flags fly as well. Some frustration showing through right now. This is going to be a roughing call. After the roughing penalty on the PAT, they'll kick off from 15 yards further upfield. And we'll see a return here from the end zone. And not a great return here. He'll make it back only to the 10-yard line.
Anytime you feel the kickoff inside your own end zone, you've got to be decisive about whether you're bringing it out or not. Sometimes that indecision can really cost you. That may have been what happened on that play.
Rodgers' throw complete here on target to Tunyon. And just 3 yards on the catch there. He couldn't get away. And that's going to bring up second down.
Well, it's time for them to be good teammates right here. And what I mean by that is possess the ball for a little while. Get at least 2 first downs. Give their defense a chance to settle down a little bit after they give up a touchdown.
The left side completion to Jones. And not much to speak of. Called it a 1-yard gain up to the 15.
As a defense, you're more balanced when you're in zone coverage because you're able to keep your eyes on the quarterback and see the play develop in front of you. You're able to keep the quick pass in front of them and stop it right at the line of scrimmage.
Now the throw on third down, knocked away and incomplete.
I know this offense was expecting to do big things, but it certainly hasn't turned out that way, at least not through the first 3 drives. They're definitely going to put their heads together and start concocting some offense that'll move the ball downfield.
Pilardi now on to punt as he sends this one away. On the return is Williams. 42-yard punt, 6 on the return. And the Lions will take over. The Detroit offense ready to begin their drive.
Well, everything right now that they touch on this side of the football, it seems to turn to gold. They've scored on 3 straight possessions. That lead continues to grow. And, I mean, if they can get points here, Charles, might almost be an insurmountable comeback for the other side.
I think you make a great case for that, so I'm going to flip it over to the other side. Could they make the big comeback? Certainly. Am I expecting it? Not at all. I think if we don't see a drastic change in how they're playing, this blowout's going to get bigger and bigger before the final gun.
Throwing again on 2nd and 10. Strong. And that will be incomplete. Tried to dial up the long one way out there, but it'll be 3rd down.
That's a really good job in execution. They avoided the flag downfield and avoided giving up yardage for free. Really good coverage.
Open man right side is St. Brown. And he's got some space here. And they're able to work this to the 25 before it's all said and done. A big play there on the catch and run. And it'll move the chains. Back to throw again. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up 2nd down.
And I think they'd be well served to take that type of a physical approach against him the rest of the game. He's had his way so far. But on that last one, that worked quite well for the defense.
They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. And he will slide to a stop. He does have the first down. It's a gain of 11 yards that time, and it produces a new set of downs.
I haven't met a quarterback yet that didn't enter the league with a massive chip on his shoulder if he wasn't a first-round pick. They want to show the league that they made a big mistake. Determined to get the first down there, no hesitation.
And they're going to get him. They bring him down to the sack back at the 16-yard line. Jaron Reed muscles his way in for the sack.
So, Charles, no turnovers yet for this offense, but those sacks now, they're starting to pile up.
And one thing usually leads to another because they've got to figure out how the offensive line and everyone else involved in protection.
And that is caught. Touchdown, Detroit.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
A 16-yard touchdown.
And the Lions will extend their lead in the final minute of the half.
Extra point by Badgley, up and good. And a rout is on here in this first half. Following the touchdown, Badgley out there to kick it away.
And here comes a return from the middle of the end zone. And he's only going to make it to the 13-yard line and no further.
The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And what do you think goes on here in this situation? If you got the football, you're trailing, you're back in your own territory. And Rodgers intercepted a third time. And he will bring it back. An interception return for a Lions touchdown. You start to feel sorry now for the young man throwing the football. This is really turning into a disaster.
Listen, it's baptism. All right, this is almost a rite of passage. This young in the league, go back and find a Hall of Fame quarterback and check their records for their first 2 years, especially if they started the bulk of the games. I bet you'll find double-digit interceptions on just about every one of them. They have to learn as they go along.
This will be brought out from the middle of the end zone. And he'll be dropped at the 21-yard line, so bringing it out of the end zone proves not a good decision. Loses him about 4 yards.
The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway.
Things for them, just to put it bluntly, man, it has been tough sledding here in the first half, facing
taking it right down Broadway. 20. Touchdown, Packers.
Romeo Doubs, 79 yards. And the Packers are on the board here in the final minute of the first half. Piñeiro's extra point up and good.
And they get a bit of a respite here from what's been an otherwise dreadful first half of football. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And no return on this one as the fair catch is signaled for and taken. On first down, Strong. He's got a man complete. And they've got it well across midfield down to the 40 before it's all said and done. They're backed up here with a 1st and 20 now after the holding penalty. Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. Sideline throw, it's complete. And a nice job there of keeping the toes in bounds. It's a big play, yet amazingly, because of how far they had to go, they're still looking at a second down here. So with a yardage on that completion, he's now right at exactly 300 yards on the game.
And isn't that the magic number you get? All right, 300. That means it's going to go on a commemorative football to put on your mantle when they give you the game ball if your team wins. So much confidence.
He's got a man complete.
And he's going to get this down near the 25.
The Lions will use the first of their timeouts as the stoppage will come with 23 seconds to go till halftime. Throwing on first down. Strong. Now that'll be caught by St. Brown.
And he'll be marked down right at the 15-yard line.
Now another timeout called for by the offense. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime. From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. He's going to get that to Swift underneath. And he'll be brought down this time at the 5-yard line. Now a timeout. 7 seconds left in the first half. From the 5 now, 2nd and a yard. Again, he'll drop to throw. And he takes this one in for a Lions touchdown. Carson Strong in the final seconds of the first half. And the Lions would extend their lead here just before halftime. Extra point by Badgley, up and good. And a rout is on here in this first half. So barring a touchback, this likely the final act of the half as the kick is away. Very short kick. This will be taken by one of the up men. So we've reached halftime here in Detroit with the Lions out on top. As we send you down to Orlando where Jonathan Coachman has our EA Sports halftime report. Coach. Welcome back. Halftime over. We are ready for quarter number 3. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. The Packers set to get the football first, and they are trailing on the scoreboard as we resume action, ready for the 3rd quarter. And this is going to be returned from the middle of the end zone. And he'll be stopped right around where he would have been had he gone down to a knee, maybe a yard shy of there at the 24. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And they have a mountainous deficit looming in front of them. It was really, Charles, a disaster in the first half. So where do they go from here?
The first thing they have to remember is that what's done is done, and there's no going back. And now you have to play this drive by drive. Obviously, come back in this spot, pretty unlikely. But you still have to go out, take pride in your work, and try and put something together here in the second half.
The last run got 6, now 2nd and 4. He's got the hook up to Dobbs. And he'll be taken down, but not before they reach the 50. That good for 21 yards on the catch and run. The margin on that scoreboard, obviously, for them, it looks daunting. But I don't know, Charles. They're probably not focused on that right now. Maybe just chaining together a positive drive with plays like we just saw, giving themselves something to build on.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, and what they have to be careful of is getting glued to that scoreboard trying to do too much. Because if you do that, you're all but guaranteed to start making mistakes. Just focus on one play at a time and make each one successful.
Well, Charles, sometimes we talk about the lengths officials sometimes go to protect star quarterbacks, but that was tough to argue against.
Yeah, and I'm sure that everyone's going to say, hey, we're going to administer the penalty the same way for all quarterbacks. But when it's a star back there, even more so are they going to be diligent about throwing the flag.
So now a fresh set of downs, 1st and 10 after roughing the passer. Now a play fake. Rodgers. Now, quick throw there, going to be batted away and incomplete.
His back has been a dependable safety valve all game, so he went back to him when his first read was covered. Just unable to connect, so the play results in no gain.
So now they'll come up on 2nd and 10, once again from the 28. Rodgers tapping this forward on the jet sweep. Down right around the 25. Nice play design there with the touch pass. Looked good at the start, but bottom line, the defense was ready.
And they did a nice job scouting, didn't they? Not just scouting, but now executing once they saw the play for real after having worked on it all week in practice. They drilled on the play, then they drilled him.
Rodgers again now. Able to find Lazard. And he gets it inside the 10 to the 9. He was held without a catch in the first half, but he's got one here, and he also picks up a first down.
And this is an offense in need of getting a few good things to happen. Here's one right here. They've had their share of struggles in key moments, but that's a nice throw and nice work after the throw. And they're set up now with a first and goal.
And now a throw on first down there, but it's incomplete.
I think he's got to be careful not to force anything into coverage right there. There weren't really any throwing lanes, but the best part for him, he's got second and third down to fall back on.
Another shot from the 9 on second and goal. To throw is Rodgers. And it'll be intercepted.
Picked off by Kirby Joseph. And the Lions are going to get the football here at their own 23.
They were well aware of the scoreboard as they went into halftime, and they know how tough it's been to put up any kind of points. But if there's a positive after that play, is that they were able to take a shot at the end zone on their opening drive of this half. The negative, though, that shot at 6 ended in an interception, and we know that's not going to jumpstart this struggling offense.
Good coverage downfield led to him taking off, picking up the first down on a 13-yard run. From the shotgun, he'll look to throw. Escaping the pressure right.
That pass caught. It's Williams.
And they've got it well across midfield down to the 40 before it's all said and done. That one goes for 24 yards. So into Packer territory now. Here's first and 10 right at the 40. Operating from the gun. Strong. Trying to get it to Williams, but it's intercepted. Rasul Douglas picks him. He's had a fantastic rookie season, made a lot of lovely throws, but that wasn't one of them.
Well, we got to give him one, don't we? I mean, with the year he's having, a lot easier for he and his teammates to accept that throw, because for the most part, what they've seen, it's been pretty sensational.
The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway.
As this offense takes the field against CD, remember last drive they were moving the football, but then they threw that costly interception, so we'll see if they can right the ship here on this drive.
And doesn't that just sum up football? We see it all the time, don't we? The defense goes from losing the battle to making a huge play and stealing the momentum. So you know they're riding high right now, and they're ready to challenge this offense and that quarterback one more time.
And we'll see if the offense is up for that challenge here as things start to get more interesting here in the second half. This defense just continues to bottle up that ground game. And look, I mean, the deficit right now for this offense is so big that it might not matter. But you're still in the third quarter. They're probably going to have to try things through the air, Charles.
I agree with you totally. That's what they'll have to do. They do need to run it occasionally to take a few hits off the quarterback, because right now, you just know those pass rushers are fired up to get after him. With the kind of game he's had so far, you had to know that on third down, that they would be looking his way, and they did, for big yardage and a first down. I think the defense fell asleep at the switch on that one. I would have doubled him, tripled him, anything to keep the ball out of his hands.
He's got the hook up to Lazard. And he'll be brought down, losing yardage back at the 40. That one unable to develop, never got going. A loss of a couple, and it's second down. Here's Rodgers to throw. And the play goes nowhere. Losing yardage back near the 40 at the 49. That'll wind up as a loss on the play, so now they're staring at a third down and 12.
Brandon, we could see that play developing. They were hoping that he was going to be able to put a move on the first guy and turn it into a big play. But no such luck. The speed on defense.
Now look out, Rodgers lost the football. We have played 3 quarters. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports. Now Rodgers, gotta have this one. That's to his running back, complete. And now this is going to depend on the spot. And they say he's just short. The Packers unable to pick up the first. And it'll be a turnover on downs. On 1st and 10, it's Swift. And a good run here as he'll rumble all the way down to the 40-yard line. It'll be a gain of 10 to start the drive out by a few inches. That'll be a first down. Off play action. Strong. Packer pressure, and down he goes. Rashawn Gary in there to get him, and that is sack number 6 now for him on the year. But following the sack, they'll try to change their fortune here on 2nd and 13. Off the play fake. Strong. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
Well, at this juncture, CD, you normally see teams pack in the passing game. They've got the huge lead. Not them, though. They're still taking their shots.
I remember reading in past history, there was a college football coach in the Hall of Fame whose nickname was Close the Gates of Mercy. He wasn't really big on that. He was big on going ahead and scoring. He's kind of reincarnated right here. We're watching it in front of us.
Now a shot taken on 3rd down, but it's going to wind up incomplete.
Partner, in the sportsmanship handbook, there's something to be said for calling the dogs off in a blowout. But these defenders, they also know this is the NFL, and it's their job to stop them, whether they're in the game or they're down by a handful of touchdowns.
This one will sail out of bounds. It'll depend on the spot here. And the side judge says that went out at the 7-yard line. And for an offense that is struggling, this is not where you want to start from. Great punt.
Fantastic punt. And for all those who wonder, what do punters do during the course of practice each and every day? The best ones do what we just saw there. Work on positioning the football and helping their team.
Well, obviously, they never want to see penalties on that defense, but this one a little bit more significant there on the downfield pass play.
And coaches preach it all the time. You can't put yourself in that kind of position if you're the defender. You've got to stay in a spot far downfield where you can play the ball without creating extra contact.
Incomplete, but a penalty flag is down in the backfield. Let's get the call. Umpire threw the flag, usually always indicates holding, and that's what we've got.
And you know, depending on their positioning, where you are on the field, the umpire's got different responsibilities, but always, always making sure no one's holding.
Throwing now is Rodgers. And my goodness, another interception. Picked by Jeff Okudah. And the Lions are going to take possession of the football. Another great play defensively. They've been sharp on both sides of the ball, Charles, but that interception means that this defense very well keep them down to single digits on the scoreboard in this game.
And that's certainly something to smile about, isn't it, partner, if you're on defense? Because your goal every game is to pitch a shutout, but you and I both know that's pretty unrealistic. But to hold a team below double figures in a game, in an NFL game, that's certainly something to take pride in.
He's got his man. It's caught for a Lion touchdown. DJ Chark, 23 yards for the touchdown. And the Lions add on to their lead, and they are also closing in on a 5th straight victory. Here's Badgley now to try to add the PAT. Now this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. Following the touchdown, Badgley out there to kick it away. And here comes a return from the middle of the end zone. And he'll be brought down shy of the 20, so the decision to bring it out of the end zone, not a good one. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And that 5-game win streak is ticking away here in the 4th quarter. Just haven't been as sharp in this one. And he will not make it back to the line of scrimmage as he's going to be taken down. Buried by multiple defenders on the drive's first play. After the sack here, 2nd and 11. Now it's Rodgers. He's going to sling this deep downfield. He's got a man complete.
And he's going to get this down inside the 40 before he's finally ridden out of bounds.
It's a big play there for Green Bay. 46 yards. Rodgers now on first down. And now here's another interception. Picked by Tracy Walker. And the Lions will take over here as they get it up to the 43-yard line.
Well, partner, I got to tell you, I'm trying to think of something positive to say for this offense, but I'd have to be a spin doctor for that one. This has been a tough performance to watch.
And I think it's hard at this point to actually identify what's really gone wrong. I guess the catch-all is everything. Doesn't sound like real sharp analysis, but I don't have much else for you.
And the scoreboard just lopsided, and it's been ugly. Swift is hit, and he coughs it up.
And this is going to be Packer football. And they had just picked it off to get the football. They fumble it right back. They looked over to both sidelines. A lot of scrambling to find the helmets.
Yeah, you can almost, I mean, you know both sides are strict.
And now, as with every potential turnover, they're going to take a second look at this just to make sure. So that one overturned. They say the knee was down, and that will not be ruled a fumble.
On 1st and 10. Strong. Trying to get it to Williams, but it's intercepted.
Picked off by Chris Barnes.
And now off to the races down the right side. Past the 20. And into the end zone. It's a pick-6 and a Packer touchdown. Pinheiro now to add the extra point. And they make the score a little bit more respectable here in our final quarter of play. So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick-6. And now the kick is away.
And Williams going to sit on this one. It'll be a touchback. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. And after the interception, they are sitting in an even better spot with the ball and a comfortable fourth quarter lead.
And he can't find anywhere to go with it, and he goes down. It'll be a loss of 10, and it'll bring up second.
This is a little hard for me to compute because I'm watching sack after sack happen, but somehow they're still behind in the game. I would expect all of this defensive pressure to translate to them taking a lead, and thus far, it hasn't happened. Time's winding down. They don't want to waste this type of performance from these ace pass rushers.
And he goes across the 20 to the 22.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where there'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down.
Multiple defenders get to him there, and that is the 6th time he's been sacked in this ball game.
Just 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. Here comes the Lions punter now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. 43 yards on the punt, return of 4, and it'll be Packer football here. 1st down and 10. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway.
Where we stand right now in the fourth quarter, this one pretty much out of reach. And, Charles, I know they're going to be disappointed about several things for this ball game, but the self-inflicted wounds, they've had several turnovers. You would have to think that's going to be something they're going to discuss heavily in the film session in the coming days.
You're absolutely right about that, partner, because they're going to have to sit in that film room and watch every error that they made and figure out how to not do it in the future. And mentally, I think a lot of the guys are already starting to think about, okay, how do we put this behind us and get better for the next time out? This, they'll use as motivation for the rest of the time that they play. to hopefully never be in this type of situation again.
The Lions take over first down and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
That one looks like he'll throw here. And that'll be incomplete.
Up big here in the fourth quarter, up really big. That pass and incompletion, I don't think they needed the completion, but Charles, this is an offense right now that they're just having fun. They're clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah, you're right. They didn't need a completion. They certainly don't need any more points, but they're not going to turn them down. They're going to continue to run what they have in their playbook, and they still want to run it efficiently.
Flushed out right. And he'll let this one go deep for Chark. And that's going to be incomplete. Good effort there, trying to take a shot, but it's third down.
Well, their passing attack, even though that one was incomplete, has been really sharp in this one. It's resulted in a lot of touchdowns, and it looks like they're not going to stop throwing the football until the very end of this one.
Well, that will certainly make everyone involved on offense pretty happy, because that gives them all a chance to pad their stats a bit. But as far as the actual need, you and I both know they can just run this clock out, because this one, it was over a long time ago.
On third down, Strong. And he'll just toss it away. So he throws it away, and that brings up fourth down. Here comes the Lions punter now, as he's on here to punt it away. So possession goes over here on the punt. And that will come the offense as they take over. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway.
Well, we said it at halftime that they would need a nearly perfect second half to erase that deficit that they were facing, CD. But unfortunately, the second half has pretty much been a carbon copy of the first.
Yeah, that early lead was almost insurmountable the way their opponent was playing. And, partner, they do have some good news, though. This one is getting close to being over, and they can try and hit the reset button starting tomorrow.
On 2nd and 9, Rodgers got a man. That's Lazard. And he's going to get this down to the 35-yard line. The Packers going to use one of their timeouts, as they'll stop him with a little over 30 ticks to go in the football game. Throwing on first down is Rodgers. He'll take a shot for the end zone. And this is incomplete. Oh, he had 6 points right in his hands, but could not hang on.
That's coverage you'd expect to see in a tie game late. Not in a lopsided game like this. They are not letting up.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. Rodgers going to throw. That's complete to Dobbs. And he's taken down, but not before reaching the 10-yard line. Now another timeout called for by the offense, as the clock stops with 23 seconds to go in the game. Again, they'll throw with Rodgers. And that is caught. Well, they're going to see this one to the end. They get a score, but pretty much an exercise in futility right now. Still down big.
And now it appears that the referee's been buzzed, and we'll get a review. And this being inside 2 minutes of play, everything coming from up above.
And yeah, that touchdown counts for their team, but I think it counts more for the fantasy guys, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just something maybe positive to look at on film, but this one's over, let's be honest.
Yeah, I agree with you totally on that one.
Piñeiro's extra point up and good.
And that'll cut the lead down a bit to 28.
And Williams going to sit on this one. It'll be a touchback.
The Detroit offense ready to begin their drive.
And it's looking all the more likely that a 5th straight win is going to be in the cards. They'll try to run some time here with a 1st and 10.
And he's upended after a gain of 2 out to the 27.
Must have been spent on the tackle. A gain of 2 brings up 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line.
Well, Charles, a lot of happy faces heading into the tunnel as this one ends. An under